Kyle here from All Media Reviews. It's been a while since I've done a video. Last week was just not good, and a lot of stuff came up work-wise. The Queen thing I talked about was done, but it didn't come out, unfortunately, with the audio, so I don't know if we're going to redo it. But I'm going to I really should do a video blog of some kind, but I have a collection update, so I guess I could just do the collection update. Maybe I'll do a separate video blog. Sort of a story that I went to Oshkosh, and it's my wedding anniversary. I went to Oshkosh before that in Wisconsin. And anyway, let's just get on with the collection update. So I'll do the CDs first because the vinyl collection is longer. So, all right. This is just So, all right. That was like a little over a week ago. I end up finding these two on Discogs. This is the Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, which it was literally, I don't know how I was looking up. There was a thread on the Dream Theater forums about, it mentioned Fates Warning being in one of the Bill and Ted's movies, and I was looking up Fates Warning, they weren't. I know they had done the song for the River's Edge soundtrack. They had put in Kyrie Elysian, which was a few years before that movie. It was like a year or two. Keanu Reeves movie. I was like, well, maybe that's the connection. So I looked up Fates Warning, and lo and behold, they also had a song in this Nightmare on Elm Street soundtrack, Nothing Left to Say, from Perfect Symmetry. This movie came out in 1991, so it was a few years after. This is the 5th installment in the Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy Krueger saga. It's actually on vinyl too, which I actually thought I thought I was getting the vinyl, but it was the CD. I don't think I've ever seen this one, and just some of the clips online are pretty cheesy. It's about like Freddy's daughter. Somehow it's like a daughter, some related, ends up, spoiler alert, it kind of, basically eliminating Freddy. Of course, he comes back later, but the rest of the soundtrack, although it was composed by Brian May, the actual original, whatever soundtrack, like the different music that's used in the scenes, but the pre-recorded music in it, it's got Goo Goo Dolls, 2 Days in February. Goo Goo Dolls in 1991, that was right when they were going to peak, or right before they were going to peak. And also I'm Awake Now, both Goo Goo Dolls songs. Junk Monkeys, and also You Know What I Mean is Goo Goo Dolls. So Goo Goo Dolls had 3 songs in this thing. Chub Rock, Iggy Pop, Why Was I Broken, Freddy's Dead performed, Brendan O'Brien, who produced Pearl Jam and King's X's Dogman song, I'm produced by Hold Me Down, performed by Johnny Law. So, it was 91, right when Nirvana was breaking, of course. But lo and behold, we have 1989's 89's Perfect Symmetry track, Nothing Left to Say. It's only in one scene, and I couldn't find it on YouTube. I guess it's barely in it, but Nothing Left to Say is on this. As a Fates Warning fanboy, it's good to at least have this. So the same seller had this. This is the final in my pursuit of the Toy Matinee CD singles. Things She Said compact disc. There's nothing, it's just the album version on here. It's a promo. So, I mean, if I do the CD singles, I guess I could I'll re-show that, but just for the sake of posterity, just sort of explain why it's sort of significant is having now, I believe it's all 4. I don't believe there's another one that I'm missing. Of the, it's Reprise label CD singles. There you go. All 4 of them. Last Playing Out, Things She Said, There Was a Little Boy, and The Ballad of Jenny Ledge. So it's kind of cool that finally have a complete collection of all the 4 CD singles. So, alright, so then related to Kevin Gilbert, of course, I mentioned in the last video, I believe I was talking about Mew, the estate finally announced, and they went on sale last week, and I got mine. Beer Jam 1, KMG, Kevin Gilbert, KMG Archive number 8. Well, it's 7 and 8, so I'm not doing this in order. Troy Manatee, Men Without Pat Leonard. The live Toy Matinee from Ventura, California, April 21st, 1991. With Sheryl Crow and Toast Panos and Mark Bonilla, of course, and Spencer Campbell. So these two came out. I got them in the mail. I was gone, but they actually, I think I got them on Friday. I could have actually grabbed them because we left late. We went to Oshkosh, but it's pretty similar to the Live at the Roxy. I mean, not identical. There's a couple moments I was like, that's a little different. That's a little different. I was reminded again how during Turn It On Salvador, they referenced the Monkees Zilch. Kevin and Mark, that line, I can't remember. Something. It's in that meter. But anyway. But I listened to it today. I don't know how often I'll go back to it. I mean, am I going to prefer it over the Live at the Roxy? Probably not, but it's the same tour, a lot of the same dialogue. There's a little bit of a reference to a band called Mosaic, which isn't a reference to, of course, the Japanese band Kasika, later, like whatever, some 15, 20 years later release, would be 14, yeah, almost 20 years later. Their last album, Mosaic, I always think of, but it's like Mosaic's like the word's like a metaphor for a collage, but they do the Elton John, of course, Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding. So, and also Beer Jam 1, which I don't know why they released this one later. They did Beer Jam 2 last year. And these are all, it's Kevin Gilbert, of course, and Steve Watts on drums. These are all like jams, and I listened to about half of it today. It's, what you'd think. There's a few moments, I guess, from what I've heard so far. I listened to the samples beforehand. Here's the picture of Kevin and Steve, I would guess. Or maybe it's just Kevin, actually, there behind the mixing board. Yeah, see, due to the no track list on the original source tape, these song titles were created in 2024 to aid listeners in navigation. Bruno gave, Wayne Perez gave some sort of explanation in the, there's a little note, yeah. In the, on Facebook about how he came up with the names. He was Googling, the different references with beer and some other things. It's beer, they were just drinking beer and jamming, basically. But it's really, it's not really, but to some degree a departure from his music because it's a jam. It's really him. It's like jazz and blues and, it's just him. And the drums are mixed up high. There's no vocals, from what I've heard from it. So, these titles are weird. Ghost, Collins, Allagash White, Papazian. Thinking that was like a Mars Volta kind of title, but I guess that Bruno was Googling stuff and was having involving beer or something. So I got those two, of course. I don't know if there's anything. I didn't take the CD out on the Troy Matinee. I didn't read through this fully, making of the record. We discovered something I discovered. Men Without Pat Leonard's not there. Was there one more CD? No. Okay, yeah, there was one more CD. So I got the Pure Reason Revolution, early demos in the Realms of the Divine, which I have not listened to. I've ripped, but it's a long write-up from John Courtney about it. Some of these I heard in some form, like Sleep from Eidertown. That was a bonus track, I want to say, on one of the versions, like a hidden track. But Sound of Free is one of the other ones I recognized. But it's got demos of Bread and Bastards and Apprentice of the Universe, Nimbus and Tamos, Pop Tones single. Yeah, that Pop Tones thing. Yeah, as a PRR fan, this is great to have. Ultimately, I don't know how much I'll listen to these. I guess I have to hear them just to get a better idea. But it wasn't cheap, unfortunately. The shipping from Europe, because it was over in Europe, but I wanted it, so anyway. Moving on to the sort of somewhat epic vinyl collection. I hope this didn't get ruined. Yeah, I don't know. I'll show this first, I guess. Okay, so, I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago, my wife and I went to Half Price Books. We go there occasionally, and I picked up a few things there. This first one is a 7-inch single of the Police song Synchronicity 2 with the B-side Once Upon a Dreamin'. Which I don't even know if I know that song. I don't know if it was an album. I've never even heard it. I should go on to YouTube or Spotify to see if it's on there. Once Upon a Daydream? They just labeled it wrong. Once Upon a Daydream. But I don't know. I didn't really look at the condition too much. It was only $1. Well, I think the actual record's fine. A&M. released. Not really anything special with that, of course, but that reminds me that I need to look for more of the Police records on vinyl. I go shopping, I tend to not always look, but anyway, Synchronicity 2 was for a while. It's not my favorite song by the Police, but I should do a top 10 songs for them. But it's always been a favorite, and it's in my top 10, I'm sure. So to have that on at least on a 7-inch. So, and then let's see here. I got, yep, okay. And I picked up these other 3. As long as this has the half price sticker, I know I'm correct. Yes, okay. And they had a sale. That was one of the reasons why they have these periodically. They have these sales, 20% off, and we used to get the coupons in the mail and now an email. But so I picked up 2 Kansas records. I think I have one of my parents had Point of No Return, and then I have the first one, the self-titled debut. I'm missing all the other sort of essentials, I think. So I got Mask. I mean, it's not in the best shape, but it was whatever it was, $6, and then 20% off of that. I don't know if this is a first pressing, but Mask has, it's not my favorite, but I kind of look at their catalog as pretty equal, like their first 6 records. All those records have notable tracks. This has Mysteries and Mayhem, The Pinnacle, Child of Innocence. This was one of the later ones in the 70s. I don't say it was like 77 or 78. No, this was 75. Wow, I was thinking Mask. Maybe Mask was later. Maybe not. My Kansas history of Kansas. I know the ones from the 70s up to like 1980, but I don't know them by heart of the order. I should know. Like the Police, I could tell you, but yeah, I mean, this is for a prog fan, for 70s prog, that's sort of required collecting if you're a collector. So I got that one, and then I end up getting, this is a gatefold of Monolith, which I'm pretty sure this is one of the later ones. This was 70. This is the one maybe before Audio Visions. I think this is sort of the last, to me, sort of classic period before they started to really become more AOR. And I remember when I listened to the total record that came out the same year, maybe in the debut, maybe the year after, was better. But I thought they were pretty close. But it's amazing how you compare Kansas and Toto, and But yeah, I mean, again, for the 70s, I paid whatever, again, $6 to 20% of that. So what is that? It's $1.20, $4.80 plus tax. So pretty thick pressing, actually. So maybe this isn't the first pressing. Kirshner, CBS Records. People of the South Wind, Angels Have Fallen on the other side. I mean, when I went through the 70, would have been 79, this was one of the records that surprised me how much I liked it. Because I knew this was better than the stuff. I'd like this more than the records from the 80s and beyond, basically. But, it's like, I feel like the best stuff on here, even though it feels kind of like they repeated themselves, like the similar style of prog they were doing, they did on the previous record, but I thought enough of it still worked. The melodies, some of Livgren's licks, and Robbie Steinhardt, and just the whole guys. I think this is still a very good record. It's just, if I was choosing a Kansas record, it wouldn't be one of the first 3 I would choose, but I would put this ahead of more or less everything that came out after it. So, Monolith from Kansas. And then the big purchase, which, my wife's right, is that we used to see this frequently, and I just wasn't aware of everything about it. I knew it was a Billy Joel record, but Billy Joel's The Stranger, so it was $18. I mean, I've been looking for this for the past, 6 months, ever since I realized, well, that's the record that has Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. Of course, it has Only the Good Die Young, the title track, Moving Out, Vienna. It's a great record. It may be his best record, maybe most progressive, even though I kind of feel like Scenes from an Italian Restaurant is a great piece, but it kind of is borrowing or doing the same kind of thing that Springsteen did with Jungleland. And Jungleland came first. They're both from that area, and whatever, New York or New Jersey. They're about the same age, too, Billy Joel and Springsteen. Billy Joel might be a little bit older, but regardless, it's still a great piece, and it's, basically prog rock, Billy Joel doing prog rock. And Billy Joel started out doing prog rock before he really wanted to do the singer-songwriter stuff. But yeah, I mean, I swear I'd see this here and there. Maybe the condition wasn't always great, like at Cheapo and at Half Price and other places over the last like decade and the last 7 or 8 years. I wasn't typically trying to buy a lot of Billy Joel. Well, my wife has 1 or 2 of his records. I mean, I had Stormfront as a kid on cassette, you know, and what is it, Glass House, and one from the mid '80s. But he's always been a guy who had tons of great songs, but I never thought of buying his albums. But I might start buying more of his records. But yeah, so yeah, whatever I paid, it's in good shape. I don't know, we'd call it mint. I'd call it maybe very good to near mint, and 20% off of 18. So there you go, $3.60. So $14.40. So you know, I paid whatever, about $15 for it. So probably, you know, given I was saving, I wasn't spending so little on some of those, I felt it was sort of justified. So that's the Half Price Books haul. So then, okay, then I got 1 record in the mail. There's some stuff I'm waiting. It's going to come in the mail through pre-orders and stuff like that. And there's some stuff related to this. But and I was listening to a little bit. I need to go back and revisit the whole thing. But a lot of people don't know this. People know Galactic Cowboys and their connection to King's X, and they worked with Sam Taylor. This is self-titled album, I believe. Yes, from known as The Awful Truth, and that was Monty Colvin and Alan Doss's band before they formed Galactic Cowboys with Ben Huggins and Dane Sonnier. This was produced by Sam Taylor. This came out in 1989. I have the compact disc. I've had it for a long time. They reissued and remastered, so I almost feel like I should get the remastered because it sounds better. But I don't remember who the singer is. You know, I mean, my memory of it stylistically is it's very much like the early Galactic Cowboys, you know, but with a different singer. Do they have all the credits on here? I mean, 2 guys on there. I don't know they're the lead singer, because I don't think while Colvin's done some lead singing, I don't know if he did all the lead singing on this. So with one different singer, it doesn't even give the credits on the CD. This was on Metal Blade. Monty Colvin, bass vocals. Alan Doss, drums, vocals. David Von Orlerkins, guitar and vocals. So David Orlerking. David Von Orlerking. I don't know whatever happened to that guy. But, so here's the CD. And I got this probably close to 10 years ago. I remember I wanted it for a long time. They had it for some of the import companies and never bought it. But then they just remastered it. It's on YouTube. The whole thing can be streamed. And then they pressed it on vinyl. So this was a little bit of a pretty penny, I'll say. But I kind of, as a Galactic Cowboys sort of loyalist, and their new album's going to come out next year sometime. They made their campaign, of course. But The Awful Truth. I don't know. Maybe I will do like a Galactic Cowboys series, or I'll just do a review of this, getting a chance to revisit. I didn't get a chance because I've been pretty occupied. I haven't been listening to as much music. Been doing some. I mean, I was listening to a lot of Queen, of course, last week because we were doing that collaboration, but they even look a little bit like King's X. It's weird. They were from Missouri, of course, but yeah, I mean, you know, that was kind of the stamp of that time, the stamp of Sam Taylor, you know, which, you know, say what you will about the guy and, you know, his personality is sort of controlling personality, Sam Taylor, with both them and King's X to some degree. I can't deny he was able to produce some really good records, sounding records, and this is no exception to that. Between the first 4 King's X records and the first 2 Galactic Cowboys records, I believe, and then Dane Sonnier left, and then it include this. So, and the debut album from Atomic Opera. I don't know if they worked with them after that. The Atomic Opera, I've got their other CDs, but so all right, moving on to the last haul. So we did go to a record store in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I wasn't thinking I was going to buy. I spent money on a bunch of other stuff, including the stuff that the trip costs, renting a car because I didn't want to put my car through it. Not long of a drive in the hotel, and food and everything. So I didn't. But then since yesterday was our anniversary, we went out to dinner. So I had to hit Cheapo up. And I found a bunch of things, just looking in the used section. So I know that Alex from Beer and Vinyl shows some Al Di Meola. Well, I had these on CD, but I finally just looked over there and found a couple copies. And not perfect condition, but they're okay for $2.10 and $5.30. I mean, that's a little bit. Land of the Midnight Sun and Elegant Gypsy, the first two Al Di Meola records. His best, too. I mean, the first 4 or 5, first 4 especially, Columbia records are kind of staples in jazz fusion. But, yeah, I mean, I have, what is it, a Casino and, the other one that's Electric Rendezvous. I forget the name of it. Splendido Hotel. I've got those two, and then I've got the Live Force 82 or whatever it's called, and then there's Columbia Pressing, Land of the Midnight Sun. Of course, at least one of these features the services of Jan Hammer, but I've got one other Al Di Meola record on, but I've got the Friday Night in San Francisco. I do not have Rite of Strings. I don't know if Rite of Strings from the 90s ever came out on vinyl. Someday it should, but yeah. The thing, there's this guy locally, my friend Tim used to talk about how this guy in the band, Sussman Lawrence, named Al Wolovich, Tim said he claimed that Al Wolovich was able to play this whole record, Yes is Fragile, all on like one string, which I think is a bunch of BS. But The Wizard, yeah, Love Theme from Pictures of the Sea, yeah, Golden Dawn. It's he'd been with Return to Forever. It's like, well, I'm going to basically control the narrative and do everything I couldn't do even more. And then Elegant Gypsy, I feel like he even topped it with his greatest composition, Race with the Devil on Spanish Highway. The title track is amazing. Flight Over Rio. Yeah, I mean, it's jazz fusion. It's very crazy, fast electric guitar runs, shredding, but it doesn't get to be like, your Steve Vai or Joe Satriani shredding. This is before they even existed. Or you could even say at the time, like Van Halen. It was always done with the composition still in mind, of course, but yeah, these are both classics and kind of required requirements for the jazz fusion fan in my mind, because Al is just a very unique musician and player in that whole subgenre per se. So all right, so then also a tip. So this is sort of an allusion to Alex. He talked about a band. It was like a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago, called City Boy, who kind of reminded me a little of 10cc, that kind of progressive power pop of the 70s. So I looked in their section and found a bunch of their records. The two that I wish list on Rate Your Music, Dinner at the Ritz, and then this is Book Early. Was it Book Early? Was the other one, I think? Yeah, those two I wanted, and I was looking. They had a bunch of copies. I bought the best. Each one of them had like one or two little scratches and fingerprints, and I listened to a few songs. I have not spent a lot of time, but I spent the big, whatever it was, $2.90 on this one in good condition. The fine condition, I think I spent like $4.20. No, it was $3.60. So $6 for two of the records, and then I bought one more. This was a promo, and it tells the single called "You're Leaving Me" for Heads Rolling Plus. I'm not sure which year. These were mid to late 70s, early. This is 1980. I can't remember where they're from either. I'm gonna have to do more research on City Boy. I'll admit that like years ago, my wife and I heard a song by the band Firefall, and we were like, oh, we should find some of their music, and the rest of their music didn't do a lot, but I never bought anything from them for that reason. But this was 77, Dinner at the Ritz, and then this one was 78, so they went back to back with Book Early in that. So I don't know, they're a work in progress, but spending the grand total of, or I spent $360 on Heads Are Rolling plus two, so whatever that was, $720 and $299. So it was like $10 for these three records. I know I like to be more particular because I don't want to like get a million records and I'm going to run out of space here, and it's just becoming the vinyl hoarder that a lot of people are, but who knows if I'll end up keeping all of them. So, but 10cc, that's just mentioned them, is the last one I'm going to show in this vinyl music collection update. Their record, Deceptive Bands, which is one of the later ones. This is 77, but I'm just trying to find basically the 70s records from 10cc as well. I like more or less all of them. So I picked this one up. People in Love, Modern Man Blues. You've Got a Cold. Feel the Benefit 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, they were geniuses. I could totally see the allusion, both the influence on like an XTC, and especially Jellyfish, and a lot of other bands. NCC, you know. Godly and Cream, different story. The stuff I've listened to them has been a little too out there for me, but 10cc, when they're good, they're really good. So that's my collection update. I may stop and do a little bit of a video blog. I do have the Ars album, New Age Heroin came out. I pre-ordered that. That's going to come in at some point. It's a different track list. I like it, but more explanation as to why it's being released again. It was remixed and stuff. There's some more Galactic Cowboy stuff that's available that I hopefully will get. It's a matter of cost and budget. There was a couple other things that got pre-ordered. I'm spacing on. But anyway, and I don't know. I'll talk more about it in the video blog. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.